Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 79 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Facebook group and interact with the guests and myself, ask questions, and continue on the conversations even after the episode at Life Transformation Radio Community. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Himalaya app, Google Play Music app, Pandora, and on our YouTube channel, Life Transformation Radio. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today literally has done just that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Brenton Tyler Hoffmann. Brenton, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time talked about, man. You're a busy guy. You got a lot of people on your show. So,
man,
here we are.
Yeah, it has been an absolute crazy 2020. Some of the largest, most well-known guests that I've ever had on the show here in 2020.
Awesome.
I'm working with more people, launching more podcasts. So 2020 has been a blessing so far, man. Yeah, been
Sure.
pretty busy.
I hear you, man. Me too, man. It's just, it started off as a bang. Same with last year too. It's interesting because, it's unpredictable. You just never know if it's gonna, all this stuff's gonna happen right away, or if there's gonna be delays or what. That's the exciting and most interesting part about life in general. But thanks again for having me on, and yeah, just the timing of things and stuff like that, but it's all good. I have something, a big event I have to go to, and, at certain events, they change up the times on you. So it's like, I thought I would have a little more time, but you know what? It's all good. Like, I'll just show up fast and be late because I committed to this show. So here we are.
Oh, good, man. We'll get you hooked up and we'll get you out of here. So the title of this episode is Overcoming Adversity to Rapid Breakthrough with Brenton Tyler Hoffmann. He has defied the odds many times over, such as overcoming disorder, disability, disease, homelessness, and even death. He is a spiritual intuitive, rapid breakthrough coach, American hip-hop recording artist, music producer, guitarist, rapping piano prodigy, and a magician. He's been an award-winning skateboarder, gymnast, professional aggressive inline skater, professional dancer, #1 sales agent for multiple companies, and was a B2B global award-winning lead generator, marketing, and growth hacker. Brenton has been featured in celebrity media publications such as The Examiner, Easy Way Magazine, Actors Reporter, LA Talk Radio, Wire, Getty Images, and the Associated Press. He has performed at many venues, including the famous House of Blues, Hollywood. His music can be heard on all major online music distribution channels such as iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Coaching clients and himself have been featured on ABC, CBS, USA, NBC, Fox, and the CW. He's also the co-author of J.T. Fox's The World's #1 Wealth Coach's new Amazon best-selling book, Success Stories, Results Don't Lie. He is also the co-author of Eric Zuli's The Influence Effect with top influencers in the world, such as Life Transformation Radio alumni Frank Shankowitz, who is the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Inducted in the Easy Way Wall of Fame with celebrities such as Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, Bill Duke, and many more, he is the winner of the 2019 Resilience Soldier of the Year Award for his relentless resilience, and he'll soon be on the cover of Influential People magazine, recognized as a top influential person in the world. His Facebook, LinkedIn, and the website is down there below. Connect with him. Send him a friend request on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on his caption card. Send him a friend request. Let him know that you heard his episode of Life Transformation Radio. Dude, after reading all that, I got to know, man, what is your deep why? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, great question. And quite an intro, huh? Thank you for that. Yeah, deep why. I'd say, just the challenges that I've gone through in my life and what I've overcome, the things that usually people don't walk away from, allowed me to just want to really help people overcome, their just diversity in general and just challenges and, tap into their resilient spirit. Everybody has it, And so just that's pretty much my why I put on this planet. Purposeful living is just to help people overcome challenges.
Yeah, I love what you just said, man. Purposeful living. Like, I love that, man. And as a resilience guy myself, that is, that's what it's about, being intentional, living life full of purpose. I've heard it said that you can either live a life of quality or a quality life, but they have differences. Yep. Do I want to live a quality life or a life of quality? And it's the same thing. Do I want to live life or do I want to live purposefully?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have this quote, people quoted me on it years ago, but it goes, what's the purpose of living if you're not living your purpose? It's like a lot of people, because the reason why people get depressed or why people, there's all kinds of reasons why, but for the most part, there's a deeper spiritual meaning behind it if you dig deeper and you find the answer. And it really comes down to, are you living your purpose? And there's two different types of purposes. You got purposeful, like there's people who are living their purpose that are not getting paid what they're worth, or they're not aware of that level of purpose, if that makes sense. But they're still helping people and they're still climbing and they're still transitioning to that part of life. And then you got people who actually found their purpose and are making a living and making lots of money and this and that. And you're either completely on the far end of the spectrum where you're not living it at all, or you're like right in the middle. You know what I mean? You got like those three categories of individuals, or you got the other person far to the right of the spectrum. And so, I've been in all areas. You know what I mean? I've been because I think everything leads up to your purpose, right? Like every opportunity happens for a reason. Me doing all the things that I did led me to certain individuals, and I met certain people that opened certain doors that allowed certain opportunities to occur. The law of attraction, right? So all the things I did, being part of, co-authoring, of these books, of these, great, successful entrepreneurs like, J.T. Fox, the world's #1 wealth coach. All travels all over the world, helps many people, owns 61 different companies and brands, in 84 different countries. The guy's a really big deal. And to be given the opportunity to actually have my story of resilience, in that book was, quite an honor. But, all these opportunities happen for a reason, all these doors open. So everything was purposeful, because when you're in alignment with purpose, that's when all the doors open for you. So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. And somebody listening to this, who reads that bio and is like, holy crap, like he's a young dude. He's done it all already. Like, how does someone coming up reach that level like you and I have reached? I've been on the news. I spoke at TEDx. I've spoken at, a ton of leadership and resilience events and, a top 100 podcast here. Life Transformation Radio. The show was repurposed into a podcast, which is the top 100 podcast featured all over the place. I'm speaking at PodFest, the New Media Summit, National Publicity Summit. I mean, we're doing amazing things, each our own. But somebody listening, you know, they're saying to themselves, like, well, how do I do that? Like successfully is clues, right? So, like, how did that happen? How did you get hooked up with JT Fox, and how did you do all of the great things that you've ever done?
Sure, great question. So again, right place, right opportunity, right timing. You know, it's kind of going back in that time. Actually, was in 2017. I was homeless, believe it or not. We're in 2020 now, so I just got to show how life could be so unpredictable. But in 2017, I believe around there, I was homeless, living in my car. And I heard about JT Fox, and I went to his event because it looked interesting. So I showed up and, you know, dressed up all nice. And, you know, you got to have the persona like you're not homeless living in your car, if you know what I mean, right? Gotta faith it, not fake it till you make it, right? But you got to faith it till you make it, right? You got to really believe. So anyways, I showed up to the event and talked to him, and I was really down on my luck. I was really hurting at that time. I was, you know, still struggling, battling. I think I was still battling, you know, Lyme disease at the time, or at least it felt like it, you know. So yeah, but yeah, it was a crazy time, and so I you know, opportunities in the show up. You know, for anyone who's listening, you know, there's a saying goes, the opportunities in the show up, but fortunes in the follow up, right? So you need to show up first of all, then you need to follow up. So I did both. And then that day, my life changed. I was able to finally, get a place to live, and then really focus on, you know, getting better direction, and focus on the coaching, and then build my brand. And then from there, you know, just get clients. And I had to start, you know, I had to do it free. I don't know if you guys know this, or if you've heard of this, you know, you being in the industry as long as you've had, Sean, you know, that you have to put yourself out there, and you have to, you know, you want to get your testimonials and stuff like that. So you kind of start for free at first to kind of build yourself, that credibility.
Yep.
And so I did that.
Yep.
And so I built that credibility, got the testimonials, helped the people, got the results. It's all about results, people, all about results. And then from there, I just grew and grew and grew, and that's how that pretty much started with the whole JT Fox situation. And then also Eric Zuley, I've known him. What's up?
Mm-hmm. No, I was just saying, but that's the thing. You have to have the results. That's why people pay you. That's why you're positioned the way that you are, is because you start getting results. And people don't care how you do it. People want to sell the journey all the time. Sell the destination. Get the result.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's all about results. But what a lot of people don't understand is that, see, it's like you could be really confident and be the best at what you do, right? But it's like if somebody's not willing to do the work, then the result, it doesn't matter how confident you are, right? Like you can only get them results based on the work that they're willing to do. It's like I call it like a 90-10, like, you know, like you're 10% giving them, they have to do 90% of the work. You're just 10% of the lift, just like in working out, right? It just creates that illusion like they're lifting the bar, like, wow, like this person's doing it for me. Really, you know, that's what it really comes down to. Some people call it the 80-20 rule or whatever, where 80%, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but for the most part, they got to do most of the work.
Yep.
And so that's where the results come from. It really is up to them. We're just a catalyst that actually, you know, inspires them and helps them to be able to change. So yeah,
I love it, man.
But yeah, thank you, man. It hasn't been an easy journey. I don't know if you know too much. Have you read my story? If you know too much, and you want to tell them, or you want me to tell them. But I've overcome some serious stuff. Serious.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that right now. Yeah. I was just going to say, man, we're going to talk about that right now because you've done a lot. I mean, you've done, award-winning skateboarder. I used to do inline skating in my teens. Hung out with a lot of skateboarders. I really looked up to Tony Hawk and Bucky Lasek, you know, like the originators, right? I mean, Tony Hawk, Bucky Lasek, just going battle for battle in the X Games, you know. Guys like Matt Hoffman.
Yeah.
No way. That's incredible, man.
Used to skate with them over at Half Pipes in Huntington Beach. I get it. Go on, man. Yeah, dude, you're speaking my language for sure.
Yeah, so my kid loves skateboarding. My 17-year-old loves skateboarding. And so I showed him a movie called Lords of Dogtown. Got him hooked up with that. Really kind of building that thing out. And he's like, I want to open up a skate shop, and I want to do it. I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, got to be different. And like, watch this movie. And I remember this old movie. I think it was a Tony Hawk movie. I cannot remember the name of the movie, but it came out like late 80s, early 90s. Tony Hawk was in it, and it was like this. There was like this big group of kids. Pizza delivery truck and all that.
Guy? Yeah. It was Gleaming the Cube.
Gleaming the Cube. Yeah. Dude, I was like, what an amazing movie. Like, that's how I got that movie was my catalyst for all that. So I asked you, what is your transformational moment that changed your life and put you on the path to what you're doing today?
Oh my God, man! That would have to be for another show, my friend. That's such a long story because there's so many. See, the challenging part about my story, and I've been doing my best to sliver it down and summarize it as much as possible, is that like I have a lot of dips in my story, right? So I have a lot of overcoming and then like falling back and then like relapsing, whatever, overcoming. So it's like that's a great question, but it's a really tough one to answer because I mean, looking back in retrospect, I say 2017 was like the turning point where I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't live this way anymore. I'm not, you know, like I'm one with God. God's one with me. Like, you know, I have a lot of power within me. Like I shouldn't be sick like this all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's time to really take it and step it into high gear. So I think that was, right. So I think that was the real turning point. And I've had other turning points in my life, but I think this was the one where, you know, just when you think it can't get any worse for you, it's the wrong question to ask yourself. Like a lot of people go, oh my God, could it get any worse? Like that's the worst thing you can say, especially to God, right? Because it can. And you know, I was dying in my bed, battling neurological chronic Lyme disease. My body was deteriorating. I was being attacked on all ends. It was a very scary moment in my life. And just when you think, you know, I mean, for our listeners who's listening in, I mean, can you really think of what's worse than dying and like being bedridden and dying? Like there's really nothing worse than death unless you're being tortured, you know what I mean, on top of it. Right. But and then I was grateful, right? I was grateful that I had a roof over my head and all that. But what happened was, well, at least I thought I was, but what happened was it did get worse. You know, I ended up homeless. I lost my home in 14 years. I ended up sleeping in my car in the freezing cold in February, you know, in Orange County. It was like freaking 40 degrees at that time. It was so cold. And that was a really scary time. So I think that was my turning point. I think that was like, wow, man, if I could overcome all these things that I'd gone through, right, all these incredible health challenges, and then on top of that, you know, God is like, oh yeah, you know what? Like you're stronger than you realize. Let me put you in a car and have you be homeless. As if you think it's a mean, cruel joke, right? That I had to go through that. But in a way, those situations really shape you and allow you to, instead of coming from a victim mentality, you're coming from like a victor mentality or victory. Like, wow, look what I've overcome.
Yep.
Like, you know. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I'm gonna describe.
Love that, man. Yeah. Love it, man. Absolutely, 100%. And what I want to say to that is it's beautiful the way that it happens because it seems like it's supposed to happen that way. Back at the last 10 years of my life, even though actually the last 12, 2008 was a suicidal moment and divorce and getting kicked out of the military and like all this stuff.
Wow.
To learning how to speak as a drill instructor for basic training and staying in the military, to having a platform as a resiliency trainer and then a podcaster and a speaker. So it's like I had to have the adversity. I had to go learn how to tell my adversity, and then I had to have a platform to tell my adversity on. But it had to, if you look at the last, 12 years of my life, this is how it had to happen. It had to happen this way. Same for you. You had to do what you did in your teens and 20s and, every year after that. So it's like you had to do these things in this order, and the adversity had to come in that order in order for everything to work out the way that it was supposed to work out, because everything does work out the way that it's supposed to. It's just that's what I believe. Everything is destined and it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
Yep. Yeah. That's what true. What's up? Yeah. So I call them, there's like 5 pillars. We can go into this later, but just real quick, there's 5 pillars to faith. or to achieve that level of success and faith, right? So like I have so you start at doubt, right? Obviously everyone starts at doubt, and then you move to hope, and then from hope you move to faith, and then you move to true faith, and then you move to knowing. So think about that for a second, because when you're in a state of knowingness, like nothing can break your spirit, like nothing can get through, like at all. You're just like a million firewalls. Does that make sense? So like,
yep.
So it's really about being in, and that's one of the hardest states to be in, right? Because the ego gets in the way, and people think that they have right and all that stuff. But when you really just truly know that everything's going to work out for the greater good, when the evidence around you tells you, hey, by the way, knock, knock, you do know you're screwed, right? Like you're done, and you're just like, nope,
right.
nope, I know. That's where I was. That's how I was able to overcome the things that I overcame. So I don't know how much you know or what. It's kind of a long story, but you want me to kind of tell a little bit about what I overcame?
Sure. I mean, I know about it because we talked about it way before last year.
Yeah.
When you were winning that award, that resilience award.
Yeah, exactly. It's so anyways, yeah. How I won that resilience award, you know what I mean? And I actually was up against two powerhouse females, very successful females that also endured a very challenging life and stuff as well. So the fact that I actually beat out these two powerhouse women, that was people are like, wow, that's amazing. You must have an insane story, right? And it's all really a matter of perception. But anyways, I came into this world with actually a rare blood infection about the age of 7. I almost died. I overcame that. I was diagnosed with severe ADHD learning disability. I was actually put in special education, where I remained there for like my entire educational life. Talk about graduation, like life was very difficult in general. I lost a lot of jobs. But back before, when I was younger, I was a survivor of I survived horrific child abuse. So anybody can relate to that, right? From 6 months all the way till about the age of 13. So that was just that alone. Wow. Just being abused is a tough life, right? Just that's hard enough as it is.
Yep. I know how that is.
Depression.
Yep.
Right. You get it.
Yep.
And so, I was badly bullied and beaten up at school, and had my head flushed in the urinal and trashed in the trash can. People think that that's just in movies. No, that stuff really happens in real life, people, anybody who knows that and has gone through that. But, I was beat up by gangs. And when I wasn't being bullied, at school, I was being bullied in the house. I was being beat up by my stepdad. But I've had guns put in my face. I was chased with knives, and to escape the pain, me and my friends, we would go out late at night, 2 a.m, walk the train tracks, tagging on walls and trains. I say, the movie Stand By Me, right? That was like my life. My life was like a real Stand By Me.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. You
Great
get
movie.
it, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah. I've endured I've endured and suffered 30 years of debilitating depression and bone-crushing anxiety. I mean, enough to completely debilitate and cripple the strongest of men. I'm telling you, like, it doesn't matter how big or how powerful you look. Those kind of things can really, take you out. But, I mean, so many things have happened. The serious stuff, I endured and survived the worst case of gangrenous appendicitis and peritonitis, if anybody knows what that is.
Jesus.
That's when your appendix doesn't just burst, but it rots, and it went gangrene in my system.
Right.
So that was very serious stuff. And then at 26, and that was at the age of 26, but, after that I had neurological late-stage chronic Lyme disease. I suffered a TBI stroke at the age of 32, and I almost died twice from hypokalemia, low potassium loss. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. And they told me that the chances of survival is extremely rare. But I didn't even tell you the part, too, that to listeners, I actually, at 18 years old, I overcame, on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, Thanksgiving Day, I got hit at 75 miles per hour, me and my family. My mom and my dad and myself, we were in a Rolls Royce, and those things are solid steel built like army tanks. And somebody hit us. We were stopped on the left side, of the center divider, and the cars were flying past. Hey, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like dead stop on the left, right?
Yep.
And somebody hit us so hard, and the seatbelt got stuck in my rib cage. I shattered my C6 vertebrae. I ended up paralyzed, sent to UCLA Medical Center, told I would never walk again. and literally like attached to a breathing machine and IVs. I mean, it was insane. And they told me you're done. And 12 hours later, I miraculously walked away when they told me I would never walk again. They were like scratching their head, like how's this even possible, right? So I have endured a lot of stuff, and I've overcome, brain injury after brain injury. We're talking multiple concussions, and as well as the TBI stroke. So even just one of those things could be debilitating to you. So the fact that I can actually still have an intellectual conversation, and do radio interviews and talk to people and share my story is a freaking miracle in itself. That is
absolutely mind-blowing and incredible. And and just a testament to the resilience. I've heard story after story on this show that I was diagnosed or this happened or this whatever. The doctor told me it would never happen again, and then I did it, and they're like, how? And it's like I just believe that the mind is the most powerful thing on the planet. If I believe that this is going to happen, then it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's just going to happen. And I just completely believe that the mind is the most powerful asset that we have. Because you could have said, you know what, doctor, you're right. I'm never going to walk again. You're right. To survive this disease is completely rare, and I'm probably not going to survive. You're probably right. Yeah, but we don't do that. So
exactly.
So as we wrap up the show, because I know you got to go. We wrap up the show, how can people work with you, and what would you work with them on?
Great question. So it really comes down to, resilience, right? Like I think a lot of people are not aware of just how powerful they are and just what they can overcome. And so I think it's all about the power of story. Like, I'm sure you've heard that where people say no one really cares about your story. They just care about how they can get help, right? And that's true to a certain degree. But I think the power of the story inspires people to go, oh, my God, what am I complaining about? Like, wow, my life is not as challenging as it appears. And so if this person could actually overcome these things, like, then I should be able to overcome, like a breakup should be just a breeze, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? How some people feel like they're dying inside because they endure a breakup, and even though that's sad. But anyways, I think it's really just helping people have breakthroughs and step into their ability and their power that they don't really believe or they doubt themselves of having.
Yeah, I totally get that, man. Sometimes we get in our own way, and we hold ourselves back. So totally get it, man. So, we always end the show with a.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm saying I'm an intuitive, right? So like I have the ability to foresee things and see into situations, just natural ability. A lot of people actually have it. It's nothing new, right? There are people out there that have it. I've had this gift since I was born, and even with all of I think all the challenges that I endured, I think it strengthened it, and I've heard certain stories of other people who have similar situations, and so I'm able to really kind of foresee, problems and find solutions very quickly and get people results. And so that's you can reach out to me if you need help in any area of your life, spiritual, mental, physical, relational, financial, emotional, doesn't matter. I can help you with it. And even though I've never become a billionaire or a multimillionaire, but I can help you become that. And here's why: because you don't have to be a millionaire to make somebody a millionaire. What happens is that if you can actually correct an emotional issue or problem in somebody's life, that can correct something where they can go on and make more money. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Absolutely makes sense. So we always close the show with a takeaway. What is the one takeaway that you want the audience to take away from this episode? The one moment in time where you get to deliver the message. What is the takeaway that you want them to remember the most?
Great question. The takeaway. I would say it's to really just, to live your purpose, and you do that through, having faith. If I could share 5 keys with you, it's, you got to have faith, and then you need to forgive yourself and forgive others. And then you're able to be more grateful towards yourself, and you're more grateful to others. And then if you're able to be more grateful to others, then you're able to accept situations the way they are, right? And then if you're more accepting, then you're able to have more peace in your life. And if you have more peace in your life, then things don't affect you as much, so then you'll have more success. So the takeaway is to really just not. Oh, thanks so much. To just not take life for granted and just know that anything can happen at any given second, and don't test God, and don't ever wish or say that things can't get any worse, because they could.
Oh, they could always get worse. Yeah, they could always get worse.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable. I just want to acknowledge you and the overcoming of that resilience to rapid breakthrough. And you have done so much. I didn't even get into the rapping piano prodigy, which I think is absolutely incredible.
That's
but
okay.
Man, I'd love to continue on.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it, that's okay. I mean, I know I got to go, but it's like I said, it's all good. If you want to, we could talk about that. If I could share, this and to the listeners, and they want to know this, I'm all about giving value. So we could talk about that if you want.
Well, I believe hip hop, in its purest form, is I mean, yeah, you got rock, you got country, but like hip hop, like you're telling a story. I mean, if you look at any, like I'm from Detroit, and
cool.
Serious, like hip hop, culture.
Yep.
Just, I mean, you told a story. It was a platform for people. I mean, if you look at any 70s, 80s, some 90s, like that was their platform, and any great song and any great artist, they use this music, this platform, as to like deliver a message. So when I heard, American hip hop recording artist, I'm like, okay, I got you. Yeah. That's amazing. And then the rapping piano prodigy. So I got to hear about that.
Yeah. So, the first time I actually did my piano rap situation was at an event. There's an artist named Viva Doll, and she's like, Mexico's. At one time, she was like, kind of like similar to like Selena, at that time. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Or at least attempting to get to that, that level. But I opened up for her, and we actually, we did some music together, and then she wanted me to like do this, attempt to do a piano rap, and I was like, well, I'd done it before, just messing around, but I never done it in front of like a live audience of like 500 plus people or whatever, And so we had about 24 hours, or less than 24 hours, to prepare for that, and I pulled it off, and I did my first. You want to talk about nerves, right? You know what I mean? Like, people prepare for that moment their whole life, right? But yeah, it happened. Pulled it off. It was fun, and then from there, I did it a couple other times. But yeah, it's the piano rapping is awesome. But I've been rapping in general and just on and off for 20 plus years, so it's just comes natural to me, and
awesome.
I put it to the side. It's really difficult to keep it consistently going, especially when you have so many different talents and so many different things. It's easy to get thrown off your path. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, what an amazing combination. Because it's different. So
yeah,
very cool,
exactly.
Man. Hey, I want to be appreciative of your time, and I just thank you so much for coming on the show. This is absolutely incredible. The listeners, I'm sure I got a lot out of it. Just keep going. Mm-hmm. That resilience. You were 3 years ago. 2017. I mean, you're homeless, and now you've done all this stuff, and we've talked about the JT Fox thing, and we've talked about that resilience, and that's what drew me to you. I was like, dude, anybody with resilience, I'm like, let's do this. This is on.
Yeah.
Sure. Love resilience, love gratitude. So, man, you're a rock star, and I wish you the best in 2020, my man.
Thanks so much, man. And then also, they can check me out. itsmyurls.com/Brenton, BrentonTyler. Brenton Tyler. That has my links to all my music, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So you can actually hear it as well. My alias hip hop name that I go by is Slide of Rhyme. But I also have other stuff too, interviews. You can follow my path and my journey to all the things that I've done and stuff like that. There's a lot of links there. So, so check it out. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. And we'll have to. Yeah, what's up?
There's a correlation between Slide of Rhyme and the Magician there. I like that.
Yeah, it's all about identity, right? So,
Dude,
so yeah, the correlation,
clever,
sleight
man.
of hand, sleight of rhyme. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Clever, dude.
Yep.
Hey, listeners, listen right now. That's branding, okay? That is taking two things that are not normally compared together and making a name and conjoining those together. That right there is a branding takeaway. Nicely done.
Thank you, man. You know what? I knew branding before I even knew branding. Go figure, right? So when I met JT Fox and when I met Eric Zuli and all that, like I was like, oh, this seems really familiar, actually, right? I didn't know it to the level that they knew it, but I naturally knew it because Sleight of Rhyme, I took the two things, created the identity. It felt real to me because I was a magician and I was a rapper, so I combined the two together and came up with that, and I'll never change it. And I'm the only one that has it, and it's all about branding. If you look, I'm branded. I got Brenton Tyler Hoffmann personal branding. I got the Walking Miracle Warrior branding of my story. You guys can all check it out. But anyways, great talking with you, man, and thanks again for having me on. And
Absolutely.
I'll definitely get on your show again. Hopefully, I know it takes some time, but I'll get on your show again, have me on, and then we'll go over some things that we didn't get a chance to go over today.
Heck yeah, man. Sounds great. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If anything has resonated with the conversation between myself and Brenton Tyler Hoffmann today on Life Transformation Radio, please reach out to one of us, connect with him on Facebook, LinkedIn, and the link below on his card. Connect with him, send him a friend request, and let him know that you heard his episode of Life Transformation Radio. And with that, I close the show by saying, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.